The mysterious death of 3 members of crime intelligence whose bodies are found in a place that is questionable, and upon the discoveries of their bodies, 2 more bodies are discovered. In today's episode, allow me to unpack few things. Tracker. Secondly, cell phone. Thirdly, the fact that the police admit that there is discrepancy in the times that were given to us. But I want us to begin somewhere, because in today's episode, I want us to bring in experts' knowledge, specifically when it comes to cell phone tower and how it works, and how these 3 beloved members of crime intelligence would have been tracked through cell phone towers. I'm bringing in a member of a person who works for Vodacom in the forensic department, where they deal with cell phone towers, which depicts everybody's movement and will tell us the time. Coming up in this episode. It was on the 30th of April 2025 that the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Fanema Simula, decides that he's going to address the discrepancies that the public have been complaining about. And the discrepancy is about the time. So he then calls a press conference where he addressed the media, and he speaks about the time. But it is also in that press conference that an announcement is also made that the divers, the rescue team, have detected a metal object just where this bodies and where they found everything that we now know as these people, where they found them. They detected a metal object that believed to be the car, and that was a discovery that was made on the 30th of April, either prior to sunset or sunset. That announcement is made, but police refused to confirm whether or not the car was found. Park, suspend that, because we're still coming to the discovery of this vehicle. The most painful scene to me was when I saw the vehicle being pulled from the water, lifted up to where everybody was standing. That was the most difficult scene. I couldn't watch that without tears. Be it as it may, it's not about whether I watch it with tears or not, but it's about what Fanema Simula will address and how the community responds to what Mr. Fanema Simula says. It shall be remembered that the response of Mr. Fanema Simula comes as a result of people asking and questioning the times that were being given here. He calls a press conference. In that press conference, the police commissioner speaks and says this.
The accident looks like it did happen around 02/2022. Of course, the signal of the tracker that it went up to 5 o'clock, at this stage we cannot deny or accept that, but we can take it that probably it is the case. One will have to take note probably that maybe the battery on the car took time to, even in the water, it took time to lose signal, that we are not those experts. We can't really argue against the tracker company or what they are saying. But however, what we know is that, yes, around 02/22, we do have a central camera that is at Brakfontein interchange that have captured the car passing there. So we presume immediately thereafter the car went then into the water, and yes, the cell phones signal did go off immediately thereafter. The countries, yes, the investigation team did confirm. Remember, they went through all cameras, including countries from Grasmere, Toll Plaza going north on the N1. They did confirm that some countries did assist them in seeing to either the car have passed that area, including other cameras that are on the road. I hope I answered you. Thank you.
It is on this specific point that we are now we are compelled to address the issue of the issue of a Vodacom expert who testified or once testified in a case that is known as the Senzo Meyiwa trial, case number 636/10/2014, when they called a Vodacom expert who testified about movement of humans who are carrying a device known as cell phone and how this device works and how it connects to cell phone tower and how the tower records your activity and your connectivity. That information comes in handy as we address the mysterious death of these three members of crime intelligence. The community react on the 30th of April 2025, just after Mr. Fandema has responded to the question of the timing that doesn't make sense. The public then responded and say, he clarified nothing. He should have just kept quiet. I am offered disbelief that it was an accident, but a well-orchestrated, organized crime after perpetrators realized that they hijacked law enforcement. Commissioner, this is still not make sure. Please dig deeper. Some members. Another person says, you guys said the tracker signal was lost in Grasmere. Now that we won't know what happened to these kids. It is the issue of a tracker that we will also have to address. Just give me time. So the car is still swimming in the water. That was on the 30th of April. If the battery died because of water, maybe the river, then where is the car? Who will have time to take out the car from the river and disappear like that into thin air? Even kids won't agree to this kind of reporting. The problem at this moment is the police are trying to catch up with what people are saying. The police are trying to catch up with the public. The public who's asking questions after questions and questions after questions. My concern is, why does the police seek to answer questions instead of sticking to investigation, which will reveal the truth? Another individual had this to say. My concern is that he believes the NP200 driver who stopped at the garage with the deceased was simply checking who was in the Polo, since the guy had been traveling together from Bloemfontein. After seeing it was just two women and a man, he left at it, he felt at ease and left. Why didn't he stop in look? We are not going to continue with this, but before I could just go on and on and on and on. It was then reported On the 30th of April 2025, it was then reported that parts of the car, the bumper, the fender, the bumper, has all been discovered. It breaks everybody's hearts because people can begin to see something. Whilst we are still talking about that, the day passed by, the 30th of April 2025. At this moment, the discovery of the car has not yet been made. We go to sleep. Up until the 1st of May, which is a holiday in South Africa, it's called Workers' Day, where people who are working are supposed to be relaxing somewhere, and they are supposed to be celebrated. But then, because we've got an emergency at hand, the rescue team gathers again, composed of different multidisciplinary teams, comes together to continue the search. But what is unique about the search that takes place on the 1st of May 2025 is that they don't begin from where they detected the object, but rather they begin somewhere at a different point. From the morning, as we follow the story, from the morning, the search continues, but in a different point, but same river, probably 400 meters away from, if not 400 to 500 meters away from where the object is detected. A search is conducted and nothing is discovered. Then midday on the 1st of May, rather, a position is changed by the team. They then go back to where they detected the object and where they found the bodies, and the search continues. A search takes place probably 2 hours something into the search, and then the car is discovered. It took probably 2 to 3 hours to get the car from the water to the point where people are standing. But I want you to suspend that for a moment and follow me as I try to take you into a journey where we coordinate the time and where we find evidence that coordinate the time. Or rather, where we might find evidence that coordinate the time. It shall then be remembered that in case 636/10/2014, a case of Senzo Meyiwa, the late soccer star who died at Vosloorus. During the proceeding of that trial, the state called on a woman by the name of Vitilingam. Vitilingam is a forensic expert in a specific department at Vodacom, but more specifically, they deal with the issue of towers. Vitilingam took a stand in the Senzo Meyiwa trial and told us that when you have your device at hand and if your device is switched on, as you move from point A to point B, if at point A there is tower A, and when you move from point A where there is tower A and you move towards point B, there is what we call it, all these towers have what we call it radius. When you exit radius A and you enter radius B, the moment you exit this side, the network will tell us the time when you exited this radius, which is captured by this network tower. As you enter into radius B, where there's network B, which is point B, as you are being captured at radius B, the cell phone tower will tell us that at this specific time you were captured here. It's even made worse if you made calls. It will tell us the tower, it will tell us the time, it will tell us the calls that you made. In trying to coordinate times in this thing, we do know as a matter of fact that it would have been nice for police to coordinate time by simply getting one of these experts from all these networks to coordinate these times. That's solution one. Solution two, we now know in the same case 636/10/2014, we do know that an expert that deals with AVL record was called. And the expert explained into depth how tracker works. It tells us when the car was on and when the car was off. It was then proven in a court of law that at this time this car was on, at this time this car was off, at this time this car was on, and this time this car was off. That's point number two, how we coordinate times. We hope and wish that time will be coordinated in this case, because it remains a mystery that they were on their journey from Free State to Limpopo. That should have been N1, and it's a straight route, but where they are found doesn't make sense. And it still doesn't make sense. Nevertheless, maybe it's not supposed to make sense to us. Maybe it's supposed to make sense to them. But as of me standing here today, I can confidently tell you that what we currently see, it literally doesn't make sense. Yes, we will wait for the investigation to continue. Now, I've said please suspend a specific point about search. On the 30th, just to recap, we are told the divers have found an object. And this discovery is made somewhere towards sunset, if not sunset itself. The following morning, that will be the 1st of May 2025. When they gather together, they don't start from the point where the discovery of this detected object is made, but rather they start 400 to 500 meters away from that. They start their search from the morning. Somewhere midday, they decide that there's nothing here. And then we hear the spokesperson from the South African Police Service, Brigadier Clementa Mate, speaks to the media and updates the media about their search and why they search in that position or in that specific location. She said this.
Briefing session that is currently underway. We have been informed that the divers are regrouping. They have searched the length and breadth of this part of the river and they have not found anything. So it means it takes us back to point one. So it's quite long. It's a 4-kilometer distance. So it means we need to go back to other parts of this river and resume our search. But unfortunately, we have not found anything on this part. But where we are now, this is where the Renault Kangoo panel van was found. It was found just here. That is what also brought us to this area. So for now, nothing positive, but we are continuing. As you can see, the meeting is currently underway. The debriefing session is currently underway, and we are regrouping, re-strategizing. We are not giving up. It's Workers' Day, and let me also thank the teams that are out here on Workers' Day, on a holiday, really responding to the call of duty. It's through dedication and commitment that you see our men and women in blue, not only our men and women in blue, but working with other key stakeholders, working on a public holiday. And that just talks to really the dedication and the commitment that these individuals possess.
Yeah. And speaking of your team, Brigadier, are you concerned at all about their safety? Just a few minutes ago, we saw them really going deep down with all those mechanisms that they have, a lot of obstacles that they're dragging out. Are you concerned at all as they continue with this operation?
Look, you can see it's a busy river, it's polluted. Safety first for our members, but we do have the expertise, we do have the commanders that are assessing the situation by the minute and advising whether it's safe or not for the members to go in. But you would have seen that the members, when they go in, they are carried by very long ropes, and that on each side there are members that are holding on to these ropes to ensure that they do not slide down and get washed away by this water.
Okay, having said that, they change a location, and as the location is being changed, a search ensued. Back to square one, a car is being found, and it took a lot of time to get the car in a favorable position where they can pull the car away from the water, which makes perfect sense. As the car is being pulled closer and closer and closer and closer to a safer spot, being the top of the bridge where everybody is standing, where the cars are, where the news reporters are, and where everybody else is standing. Whilst the car is still there, then the divers looked into the car and searched the car while it's still in the water and found piece of evidence that belongs to this, or that is said to belong to these people. Right when this car was still in the water, a confirmation is made that it is the car which carried our beloved 3 members of crime intelligence. The car is being pulled from the water, and it takes a bit of time to do so. We are watching a horrible scene, difficult to watch. More specifically, when the car was being pulled, now when it was lifted up from the water, right when it climbs the air, in an attempt to be lifted up above the bridge. That was the most difficult scene that I had to say to myself, if I was the parent, if I was a relative, how would I felt about this scene? This sounds more painful to watch. From me, a person who's not even a member of the family, but I find it very difficult to even watch that scene. But then the car is finally pulled from the water straight into a safe place, into a police truck that is supposed to carry this exhibit, which is now must be handed in the forensic department for further investigation. Police then confirms that they are investigating a case of it's called what? Is it a homicide? Well, we now know as a matter of fact that it looks more than that. What is homicide? You probably ask. When police says they are investigating a case of a homicide, they are basically saying, we are investigating a case of a human being who might have done something that would have put either themselves or other people at risk of either being injured or dying. Most of the time it's death. In other words, I could be the driver of a specific vehicle carrying 15, let's assume it's 4 people. I could be a driver of a private vehicle that is carrying 4 people, and I'm the 4th one. If police says we are investigating a case of a culpable homicide, they are basically saying, I could have been reckless enough to drive in a manner that could have put these people's lives in danger. These 3 passengers' lives in danger. That is what police are investigating. It's up to you what you make of it. The investigation is still in its infancy. It's still preliminary investigation. Nothing much can be said. Yes, the police confirmed that they cannot rule that the investigation later on might be changed into something else. But as of us now, as of me speaking to you, police are investigating a case of probably reckless driving. Number 1, let's look at the geographical. Where are they coming from? Free State. Which road are they supposed to be in? N1. Whether you're on N1 or not, yes. Going to Limpopo, right? How did they find themselves specifically where they are? What happened? A justification is given. It was raining. So it rained enough that it took the car from that position to the point where it was. We park that because we are told we are speculating. We must stop speculating. So to avoid being called speculators, we'll park that. It is important for you to understand these details because I can guarantee you the case, if we're lucky enough, will come back on the media, and you will have to remember all these details that I gave you. You will have to remember the story of how a cell phone expert once told us about Cellphone, the information that was once related to us in court. And we believe that everything and anything that is said in court, it is nothing but the truth. So if anything and everything that is said in court is nothing but the truth, therefore we believe that when you move from Tower A to Tower B, you are being captured there. We have parked the issue of tracker, and we touched on it a bit. It is also important to note that if you've got a tracker and you take your car into spinning, then you bump your car while spinning your vehicle, a tracker can pick it up that you are spinning your vehicle, and they will refuse to pay because you were spinning your vehicle. If you are speeding, tracker can pick it up that you are speeding your vehicle and you were driving at this speed. And we know in South Africa, the speed is 120 kilometers per hour. But if you're driving above the prescribed speed limit on freeway, you all know tracker can also pick it up. We know, as a matter of fact, that when you start your vehicle or when you switch off the ignition, tracker can pick it up that the vehicle at this time the ignition was switched off. When you switch it on, we now know, as a matter of fact, that tracker can pick it up that at this specific time the tracker was switched on. And if the car is just idling, we know, as a matter of fact, that tracker can pick it up that the car was just idling from this minute until this minute. This was proven by an expert in court, an expert that works for the South African Police Service, and also a person that is not a member of the South African Police Service, the person who represents a company that provide tracker services to state-owned vehicles. So we know from the AVL record that it knows when you switch off your ignitions. It knows when you switch it on. It knows when the car is idling. It also knows when there's a movement. We know as a matter of fact. So if we know that such does happen, we will then know, or we should know, if not now, but in the process of time, we should know from a tracker, from an AVL perspective, how did they get themselves there? What happened? We should get that report. We should be able to get that report. Why? Because the car that they were driving, we now know that it belongs to the state. It was a car that was bought for intelligence, for crime intelligence members. It belonged to the state. Therefore, it must contain all the AVL records. The AVL records that I just spoke about will be found, since all state vehicles have a tracker company that specifically provides tracker, and it's unique for state-owned vehicles. Therefore, in the case of these three members of crime intelligence, we should be able to know what really happened. We should be able to know, because it has been proven in court that such records exist. So speculation at this moment is preemptive. In the absence of all this evidence, anybody else, including the minister, was just speculating. The minister had a conversation and addressed the media when all of the discovery was made. In his address to the media, he addressed speculations from you and I. People have asked questions about the bodies, where the bodies were found. He takes us into confidence and show us where the bodies were found. And he tells us that no, this is like the following. The bodies of these individuals were found here. 1 kilometer away, this is the river. Let me just say, this is the river. The bodies of these individuals were found here, the three members of crime intelligence. 1 kilometer away, a body of a member of South African Police Service at Lincolnton Police Station was found. But another body was found ahead of them as well, which is probably 400 meters away. Despite that information, something still doesn't make sense. Something doesn't add up. Despite what we are being told, despite what the minister has clarified, something doesn't add up. And that is, whether the discovery was made today, tomorrow, or a day after, it does not matter. What matters is what a coincidence that 3 people die in a specific river, and as a result of them being searched or looked up, as a result of the search in pursuit of their bodies, 2 other bodies are found. Whether the 2 bodies are found in separate days, time, decomposed or not composed, but what a coincidence. The police commissioner, Mr. Fanema Simela, spoke to the media. In addressing the media, he said this.
With the search, they found the car here. You'd recall yesterday they found parts of the car which were the bumpers, and now they found the car. We think at least there is relief and closure that at least the car has been found. I'm sure every one of you can see the condition of the car. We are going to undertake an investigation of the car so that we can come to a conclusion as to what exactly happened. But from I think the look of eyes, when you can see that the car looks like it capsized first before it impacted on the wall including the barrier on the side, and then eventually went into the water. So we unfortunately have this very, very bad closure. But some of the things that I would want to clarify is that because it looks like people believe that all the 5 bodies that we found them here, which is not the case. Remember, our colleagues left the 23rd from Bloemfontein in the evening around 2200 hours, and the car was lost here, the signal and the phones around on the Thursday morning, somewhere after 2 o'clock. That's when the signal died at this very specific place where we are. That was Thursday. And then on Saturday, while the search team were going through the river, on Saturday, downstream, the same river, but next to N14, that is Ben Schoeman Highway. That's where then they found a car, a Renault, in the river. It was Monday. Yeah, Monday. They found the Renault in the river, and this Renault belonged to one of our gardener who works at Littleton. If I can orientate you so that everybody can understand that the Renault was not found here. This is the Ben Schoeman Highway. This is the same river, Henops River. It goes under the highway. So there is another bridge there, if those that can see. So our gardener's car fell right here where you see sort of a dam in the river. Here is a circle. Straight from the circle, he fell in there with the car, and that's where his car was found Monday afternoon. He doesn't stay very far from this place. There is a police barracks here, those that know the place. He stays in this barracks here. Hence, the wife, when he checked on the tracker, he saw that the car is 1 kilometer away from home, but the guy did not arrive home. So you can see the distance from the barracks to this bridge is not very far. The wife said, the tracker said, the car is on the circle. And she did look, she saw no car on the circle. So he thought he parked it somewhere, he left with friends to go somewhere. So, and eventually he ended up not being recovered, but he was recovered, seen by the helicopter, and the car was taken out, and he was found to have passed away. So I must clarify that the Renault did not go in here where we are, but it is the same river, but next to Ben Schoeman Highway, those that knows the place. And the other body of a white male that was found, it was also not found here where we are. It was found on this very same river, but the other side, as you go, Macro is just opposite. The golf course is there. That's where he was found in the river also. So I just thought I must clarify that.
National Police Commissioner Criselda Lewis from SABC Television News. Does this mean, given the fact that we now know from what you're telling us that the vehicle capsized before it then went through this embankment, are you still investigating a case of culpable homicide as a result of that? And of course, the families, after having been informed of this, because this was a crucial part of the questions that they asked when you came to the scene with them. They asked, where is the vehicle that our children were traveling in?
The vehicle, Criselda, has been found now, as you see it. Investigation, we have got no rules to stick to whatever charge when you investigate. Forensics, they're going to go through the car, look thoroughly on the car, and the fact that I'm saying it looks like it capsized first, remember, I'm not an expert. It's what I'm seeing. But they will be able to determine, because they are engineers, they are qualified people. They will thoroughly investigate the car. They'll be able to tell us exactly what happened to the car.
General Moloko Moloto here from ENCA. As much as you're still going to proceed with your investigations, what would be your response to those who might be skeptical and say, considering the fact that these are the police officers who possibly might have been investigating serious matters, and they still have conspiracy theories which they believe that this was not an ordinary accident?
Look, Moloto, I think we need to give the investigation a space. Let's not be prophets of everything. Let's allow the investigation to proceed. We know that through whatever means our investigators were brought to this place where we are as a result of the technology they used, meaning, yes, indeed, the car did drive to here. And you'd remember I did indicate that up the road at the Brakfontein interchange, there is a camera that showed us the car driving down. So at the end of the day, we can't rule out anything, but we can't conclusively say this is what has happened. Let's give let's give it space. And also remember, right at the beginning there at the Grasmary Engine Garage, you remember the gentleman who was driving the NP 200. We also investigated that, and we definitely can rule out that we are quite fair with what he told us. And his employer also told us his whereabouts, the routes, and we have got no doubt. And therefore, provisionally now, we do take his story that what he says that he drove with the car from Bloemfontein and they were overtaking each other along the road, and at some point he felt a bit uncomfortable, hence he wanted to see who are in the car. After he has seen that no, it's two ladies and a man, he was a bit much more comfortable and he left. So that is still part of our investigation. We haven't yet ruled totally that out. We're still going to go deeper because we want to know from there who did he talk to and what did he say. So that's part of the investigation. But at this stage, it looks like an accident until we finalize the forensics have done their thorough investigation on the car. So let the public be assured that this is what we have for now. Unfortunately, we can't control those prophets of doom that or that come with different conclusions. Unfortunately, we can't. So I just wanted to clarify that also to South Africans, that the bodies were all not found at the same place, not on the same day, and even the two cars, there is no three cars involved. It is only two cars. It is this Polo, and the other one is the panel van, a Renault, and it was not found at this very same spot. It is the other spot, as I've indicated. But yes, it's the same river.
National Police
General, just a quick one, Audrey from Newsroom Africa. The scale of the operation that we've seen here in the past couple of days, particularly today, has really been one for the books. And South Africans have been wondering, with the capacity of your multidisciplinary team, can they see this kind of operation happening going forward should such a case arise with other people that could go missing?
Well, we will do same. Remember, South African Police Service do get reports sometimes. Some people reports, for example, last week I had a report where somebody let her child to go away and she came to police. We reunited the child with the parents. Remember here we don't say police are more important than the public. Everybody is important. But remember, as you all were saying, you were suspecting something else. Hence, we made sure that we find out what exactly is this. And now we culminate with what we have seen here today.
Our challenge and our problem from here going forward is a very simple one. Will this case see the light of the day? Will the public know what happened? Will the public be informed what happened? Somehow, somewhere, you must remember that it is the very same police that tells us about 2 o'clock And that would have been the time when the tracker was disconnected. But a family member tells us that no, the tracker was actually last active around 5 a.m. And that is what would have pushed the minister to come and clarify as to why he said what he said. Be it as it may, questions remain unanswered. Will the South African Police Service, seeing the public interest in the case, will they come back and update us about the development of this case? Oh, this is the end of it all. We'll probably read about this on somewhere in the newspaper when they shall no longer care about the public's interest. It is about time as people that we learn not to have a short memory, a short interest in things. It is about time as people our concentration span increase, because in South Africa it's easier to predict a trend. A trend in South Africa will only last 7 days. If it pushes more than 7 days, a trend in South Africa will push to 14 days. But I can guarantee you, it will not last more than 14 days. A practical example to this is the story of Cellphone, where when it breaks out, everybody's shocked. All celebrities are speaking. Every public person is speaking. But when it dies down, whether or not justice is, whether or not people get justice or not, it's neither here or there. Nobody is interested. Today, people have moved on. Only 1 or 2 people out of 5 million to 10 million people who were interested in this case. In the case, only 1 to 2 people are now interested in the case, because people have moved on. And such is the problem that we face with this country. It is easier to manipulate people in this country, because as long as they are excited, that excitement will only last for 7 to 14 days. Other than that, people are no longer interested. I will keep my eyes and my ears open and see the development of this case. And I will save every evidence that I can. Please save every evidence that you can. It might be needed. Maybe somebody will be arrested. Maybe somebody will be caught. We don't know. At this moment, it's still early to say. But I do know, as a matter of fact, that should anything happen in the future, we'll have to revert back to this evidence. Therefore, keep this safe. Save it somewhere. If you don't have a memory card that is spare, a USB that is spare, save it in your Google Drive somewhere. Just save the file and keep it there. All the videos, the file, and everything, save it, because we might need it in the future. If not for the very same case, we might need that evidence to compare with something that might happen in the future. But I'm concerned that there is a growing trend in this country where we are constantly being drawn to cases in court, being shown cases in court. We show interest of criminal cases in court. The country seems to be taking a different trajectory, where the predominant thing that excites and gather people together is crime that is happening in court. There is everything wrong with this. This might cripple the nation. This might speak to the criminality that is happening in this country. This might speak to how unsafe it is to live in this country, for the fact that what seems to dominate the news, it's criminal cases in court. This is a red flag. This is a cause for concern. This is something to worry about. This is not something we can be happy about. It's a reflection of a society that at any given time something might happen. It's a time-ticking bomb. We should not be celebrating this. I'm very worried about the fact that if it's not the Senzo Mewa trial, it's the AKA. If it's not the AKA, it is Thabo Baxter. If it's not Thabo Baxter, Jocelyn Smith. If it's not Jocelyn Smith, it's just from one extreme case to another. The fact that the death of a human being in South Africa is somewhat valued at 5,000 rand. You can be killed for just 10,000 rand. And we see such cases in court. It speaks of moral degradation in our society. We may not take notice of that now, but one way or the other, if the circumstances and the situation we find ourselves in continues as it is, unabated, tomorrow we might have to come back to this and say, where did we get it wrong? And I'm glad to tell you today that how we and where we are getting it wrong is the fact that there is an indication of something that is wrong with our society, something that is wrong with our morals, and that is the level of criminality. The cases that we see in court, the extreme cases of people selling one another, that speaks volume. That's a cause for concern. But unfortunately, it excites us. It's something that is so exciting at this moment. We shall watch the episode. We shall watch the video, the story as it develops. We shall see if the Minister of Police will still come back and update us. We shall continue to follow the story. What I'm going to ask you is, whatever you say, however you say it, be safe. Because you might get arrested for saying things that you're not supposed to say. As I will do a specific video where I speak about that. You might get arrested for saying things that you're not supposed to say, and probably saying things in the wrong way. As police have confirmed that they will get somebody arrested. Somebody will be arrested for saying something that he was not supposed to say about this polo. And that person said that he saw this polo somewhere in Cape Town. Did not see the comment, but police have confirmed that a case has been opened. They are now looking for that individual. So, my last words to you are as follows. People should know that police have all the resources. We might criticize police for corruption and this, but don't be misled. Police have all the resources. If they want to arrest you, police will find you. Look at what happened to a person who was working for Eskom. He went to he defrauded Eskom, rather. He went to UK, police brought him back. Look at what happened to the former PA of Isma Hashud. Look at what happened to her. They brought her back from America. Today she is in court here in South Africa. Thabo Baxter was found in Tanzania. Look at where Thabo Baxter is. He's here in South Africa. AKA story. These people fled the country to Kingdom of Eswatini. Look at what happened today. When police are looking for you, police will find you. Because they've got the resources for days. They've got everything. When we complain about police, do not be misled and think that we're just saying they are useless. No, we just complain about corruption. But when police wants to arrest you, police will arrest you. They have the resources. Don't be misled. Whatever you say, whatever you do, be responsible. You don't just say things. You don't just post things for the sake of posting things. If it offends and it breaks the law, when police are looking for you, police will eventually find you. It may take them months, but eventually police will find you. this story is not the end. This is not the end of the epilogue of the story. I will follow the story as it develops. But until then, please note, I will keep you posted, and to be continued.